Hello, statistics students. I'm Gary Parker, your statistics coach this quarter. I just wanted to say hello, introduce myself, and explain a couple things about the course. Screen. All right, so recommendation is that each week you go to the course homepage and not just say the to-do list or the calendar, because I'll often have other things I want you to check out. Uh, so for example, the video page of videos of me talking about statistics in different contexts related to what we're working on is located there. And I'll often have some other things that I want you to take a look at. So again, each week, at least once a week, check out what's in the week we're on. This week, there's a little bit more stuff to do. I have some information about tutoring hours, how to get a hold of me. Similar stuff is in the syllabus over here. Some useful websites we'll use throughout the term. I like using Google instead of Microsoft. So I have a page here about sharing from Google. I'll post some stuff later about sharing from Microsoft if you're going to use Microsoft. You will need a spreadsheet for this class. My preference is Google Sheets. Microsoft Excel does similar stuff. Writing about quantitative information. So this isn't an algebra class, it's a statistics class, and statistics is mostly about description and analysis of data. And so take a read through this page here about how to write about quantitative information. The gist is if you write up an answer to or some interpretation for some calculation that we do, then I shouldn't have to look back at the question to figure out what you're telling me. That your stated answer should be clear enough that I totally get where you're coming from with your answer. And that takes practice. And we'll work more on that throughout the course. Another link to the syllabus. After you read the syllabus, take the syllabus quiz. Post something about yourself, please, so we can get to know each other. It's good to know other people in the class. If you can find a study buddy, that's even better. My YouTube playlist, I'm always adding new videos to that. So there'll be more coming this term, but there's a ton of videos already there from previous times I've taught the class. And then tests in this class will be in person. So you have to find a testing center to take them at, preferably a BMCC testing center. Otherwise, I or the testing center can help you find a suitable location. But exams are on paper, so they must be taken live at a testing center. So get in touch with me if you have any trouble sorting that out. Every week I'll post the goals for the week, and that's going to show what sections in the book you're responsible to read through, and then there'll always be a summary of the main ideas in each of those sections. So this week we're going to get done with chapter 1 in the book, and then get started on chapter 2. Either you are going to use the BibliU textbook, which there's a fee attached to your enrollment. You could choose to opt out of the BibliU inclusive access textbook. Then it's your responsibility to get the book some other way. I sent an email about that before. You could buy it straight from the publisher. I think it's $51 for 150 days access to it, which is more than enough for this term. Or you could look for a used copy, which is what I would recommend. So I have a beat up paperback copy of this book that I use. And I've seen them online for 10 to 20 bucks. So that's my recommendation. Get off the screen a little bit is always nice. So every week we'll have a list of goals, and the goals states which sections we're covering in the book. So always check that out. I'll have videos related to the things that we're covering. Sometimes I have extra stuff to do, like we're going to play with some data that I collect from y'all. Again, video playlist. The practice problems, you can do those repeatedly online, but I will occasionally ask you to do problems out of the book. So if I jump into my copy of this, the last question here says, do these problems in the book? My preference is you write on paper your responses to each of these questions, and then you can take a picture of it and upload it. When things need to be multiple pages, I use the Google Drive app on my phone, where I can scan multiple pages with the camera on my phone into a single Google Doc, which makes things really efficient. And I'll post something about that later today. Let's see. So you've got start reading the book. Week 1 goes tells you what to read. check out the videos, work on the practice problems. There'll be a reading quiz each week that's based on the sections that you read in the book. You take those reading quizzes on your own. I hope and pray that you do that on your own and learn something. You get 2 tries on each question. And I'm doing something new this term. I'm AI reluctant. I don't really like to use it. I know a lot of people who do like to use it. I know a lot of people who get good use out of it. I know a lot of people who use it inappropriately. So make sure you read the AI policy in the syllabus. Basic rule is don't copy and paste something from AI and claim it's yours, right? That's plagiarism. So please don't do that. Use AI in a smart way. And so I'm going to try and come up with some guided assignments that help you use AI better. So for example, I'm going to post another video in a couple of days that talks about application 1 here. And there already are some videos here related to application 1. And the applications are where you're going to do either some writing on paper about statistics for me, and or you might use a spreadsheet to do some things about statistics, and then you'll submit those to me after. So here was a survey I found interesting about college students in the United States, and I picked on one of the questions to address. And then I have you answer some questions about the data in that study. And then for the AI version of this assignment, I want you to first read through the executive summary and think, hopefully something catches your eye in there, like, oh, I'd like to know more about that, or, what were the results of that? And so I want you to ask a couple of questions and then see if those questions are answerable in the report, right? So for example, again, if I go back a page, I looked through the study and I saw the word procrastination pop up, and I'm like, oh yeah, I procrastinate sometimes. Sometimes it causes me problems, but usually it does not, because I get my work done in a timely manner. So this was asking if students had problems with procrastination. Did they procrastinate and it didn't affect their academic performance? Did they procrastinate and it did affect their academic performance? So I just thought that was something interesting mentioned in the report. And they had this detail right there. And then I had a couple of other questions about that I was curious about. So you're going to do something similar in this next part. Again, do all the other stuff. This is like the last thing you're going to do this week. And again, I'll post another video about this later. So you're going to look at the executive summary and try and come up with some interesting question. And then you're going to ask the AI to look at this paper. And I'll do a video demo of me working with an AI in this. And then together, I want you to come up with the AI some question to answer. And what you'll give me is, here's my interesting question from my first read of the executive summary. Here's my interaction with the AI. And then here's my question and answer after I check things out with the AI. So here I'm trying to use AI as a research assistant is what I'm trying to get at here. So again, more on that toward the end of the week. So my goal with these assignments is, how can we learn to use AI better to not replace us, but assist us? So that's the goal. So probably every other week, I'll come up with an AI assignment for us that's related to another assignment we just did. And there'll be other assignments where I say, please don't use AI to do this for you. So if you are working on a problem and you're like, shit, I don't know what to do here, get in touch with me. Give me a call, send me a note. For example, in the practice problems, if you get stuck on something, let's say problem number 16 gave you fits, message me. What'll happen is it'll bring up a new screen and it'll be directed at me because I'm the teacher. And then in the top here, you should write, hey, I tried this, this, and this, but I can't seem to get the right answer. And then I'll get to see the question you were given. I'll get to see any attempts you made on that question. And then I'll see whatever you wrote up here at the top. And then I can write back to you. You'll know I wrote back to you when this little icon up here that says messages for that that problem set, that'll light up like you have one or two messages from me about it. So please feel free to use that. And alternatively, if you're working on a quiz and you're like, you didn't get the quiz question right, write to me about it. Say, hey, I didn't get this question right in 2 tries. What can you help me out here? And I'll definitely get back to you. And if you're feeling like, shit, I don't know how to start this assignment, get in touch with me. I'll help you. Chances are I can just give you a few tips, or I will give you a video that'll like kind of guide you through it. So please, please, please ask for help when you need it. That's what I'm here for. At the moment, I only have the first 2 weeks mostly posted because I pretty much update this course every term I teach it, because there's always new interesting data out there. And I try to make sure this course is reasonably current in terms of technology we can use and interesting information out there. But each week is pretty similar. Goals, videos, reading quiz, practice problems. Sometimes I'll have some other things like how to make charts with one quantitative variable, and then histograms and box plots that Excel had some new additions it made last year. It can make charts better than it could the year before. So again, I'll often have these pages of other information that can help you out a lot. I'm still working on application 2 for next week, but it'll be posted soon, definitely soon enough for you to get it done. Generally, the assignments are going to be due toward the end of the week, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Please don't wait till the end of the week to get started on these. It's pretty unlikely that you'll be able to get a whole assignment done in one day if you wait till the day it's due. So think of these as deadline dates. Should change the order of those. Always start working on them before the date it says it's due. Those are the big things I wanted to get across here. Just want to introduce myself, give you a little overview of the course. This is an awesome topic. It's a fun course. I really like the book we're using this year. I've been using it for a few years now. And we'll also use a website that accompanies the book that has a lot of great tools for data analysis. And again, we'll get more into those later this week, next week, and the weeks to come. Take care. I hope things are going well for you. I will be in touch in the near future. Adios.